I think we should take our phones, go through our text messages, find the worst thing we've said about someone at this table, or we're gonna hand the thing that you said to the person that you said it about. And they're gonna read it out loud to the group.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl, the Brooke Ashley, and today we are here to discuss the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City Season 5 finale. And when I tell y'all, I already have my pack of travel Kleenex out because I might shed a tear. Salt Lake City, y'all did that. This was a flawless season. Every single episode was a 10 out of 10. They did not have one filler yet. And my biggest issue with y'all is the fact that you ended this season too soon. Because honestly and truthfully, we could have gotten another 2 episodes because I wanted to see the fallout from this game that y'all played on this trip, because that was chaotic. Also, I watched the extended and uncensored version on Peacock. And Bravo, why didn't you show us this version on Wednesday night? Heather, you need your behind whooped for orchestrating a game like that in the first place. I said, wait, what? We're going around the table to look through the nastiest things that we've said about everybody in this group? Are you serious? And Heather, I'm gonna really whack you later on. You wanna have this facade like you're so sweet and so nice and so innocent, and I'm just this former Mormon girl, and I'm just such a sweet lady, and you're not. You like to throw rocks, hide your hands under the guise of, well, I'm doing this for the group, and I want us to move closer. No, you don't. Because anybody with half a brain could have told you that this game was not going to end well. Now, Miss Whitney Rose, I will be getting you together because I am so sick and tired of you throwing out rumors and lies about people. People ask you for the proof. You can't produce receipts, and for some reason, you always get off scot-free. I've said this before, but you are the Ashley Darby of your franchise. Now, Miss Mary Martha Cosby, I have been rooting for you this entire season. You have given us a lot. You've opened up. You've been vulnerable. But I'm gonna let you know right now, you had me completely messed up with how you did Angie at that table. But y'all, without further ado, let's just get right on into it because you guys already know that we don't have a minute to spare. So one thing about Salt Lake City, they're going to always give you a dramatic finale because baby, this opening had me seated. We start things off with all the ladies in their confessionals while Heather is narrating. So we hear Heather say that they know what they signed up for, putting their lives on display, they've been open to judgment, and sometimes it hurts. And now we hear Heather ask, but what happens when the friends that you turn to for support turn on you too? And now we cut to the ladies on the trip where producer's asking Lisa in her room if there's any way back from this, and Lisa says, I really don't know. But anyhow, it's the last full day in Puerto Vallarta. Everybody's enjoying their breakfast, just resting, chilling out. And we see Meredith at the breakfast table with her eye mask over one of her eyes like it's an eye patch. I said, Meredith and these dramatics, Miss Girl, if you do not sign up and audition to be on a soap opera, I don't know what to do. Because that is your calling. Meredith will always give you some theatrics. So Heather comes to sit with her and she's like, how are you doing? And Meredith says that she woke up at 4 a.m. with a scratched cornea. So I'm just like, my God, Meredith, every time you're on a trip, you're either sick, something's happened to you, like you're never okay. And if I remember correctly, when you guys were in Bermuda, wasn't Meredith sick then? She had the paramedics come to the room with an IV drip. I said, girl. So Heather's like, well, besides all that, how are you feeling? Because in our friendship, you've never yelled at me before. You were screaming at me last night. And Meredith makes up an excuse by saying that she doesn't feel heard in this group unless she's screaming and yelling. So Heather's like, girl, I understand that, but you don't have to scream at me. We're friends. So Meredith does agree that she should not have yelled at Heather last night. And then she adds that that's the reason why she led with an explanation and an apology this morning about her behavior. Now, I couldn't stop laughing because Heather's just staring at her, and I was also staring at Meredith like, girl, where's the apology? I've yet to hear you say I'm sorry for yelling at you. Is this the apology? Meredith has a funny way of apologizing to other people when she's wrong, but let somebody slight her and it's World War III, she wants you to grovel and beg and say I'm sorry several times. So Heather just drops it and she says, well, I accept your apology, and Meredith says thank you. So now we see Heather sending out a group text, and it's a surprise to Lisa. They're going to have a tribute to Lisa lunch, and they're all going to dress up as Lisa. So anyhow, it's time for lunch, and they're all in Heather's villa waiting on Lisa. So Lisa walks in, and she's stunned. She is speechless. She cannot believe that they all look like her. I thought it was cute because even Mary participated. She had a wig on. She's like, I love it. I love it. I was like, okay, Mary, you actually sounded just like Lisa. But we all know that Lisa is in love with herself. So she was tickled to see everybody looking just like her. She throws some shade saying that even Whitney looks good despite Whitney wearing 3-year-old Tom Ford pants. I said, ooh. I said, not 3-year-old Tom Ford pants now. I said, girl, the shade is real. So they get to the restaurant and Lisa is just so pleased that they all look like her because she gets up to the hostess and she's like, hi, I have a reservation for 8 Lisas. And the hostess was like, okay, and... She was not amused at all. So they sit down at the table, the waiter comes by, they're all talking at once, all sounding like Lisa, and you could tell that the waiter was so overwhelmed. He was looking like, can you guys shut up? He did not care in the least. So now Heather jumps in and she says, thank you guys all for being good sports and doing this. And we did this as a way to say thank you, Lisa, for a great trip. So now it's time for them to do their best Lisa impression. And at first, it started off fun. I foolishly believed that it was going to be just a good time and they would actually have a pleasant lunch. But no, that was too much like right. This game went left real fast. So Brittany starts it off first and she's like, hi, I have the perfect body. I have the perfect life. I have the perfect family. Then Heather gets up to imitate Lisa and she says, I have glam in San Tropez. I have glam everywhere I go. And we know where that's from. Last season, Lisa had that breakdown in Palm Springs when they were like, no makeup for that competition. You have to do it yourself. And Lisa was like, oh no, I need my glam everywhere. Bronwyn's impression of Lisa was spot on. She's like, oh my gosh, did you just catch me taking my 200th selfie of the day? And by the way, this is Tom Ford, this is Bottega, I got it off the runway. Mary's impression had me screaming as well. She gets up and says, I have that too, I have that, I have that, I love that, I love that. Angie's impression was also hilarious. She gets up and says, oh Mary, I see you got a Range Rover, but I got a G-Wagon. So Whitney gets up, and at first it starts out fun. She says, oh my gosh, my $60,000 rings, I have like 20 of them. So now she walks away from the table, and mind you, on her Tom Ford pants, she has the tag still out. So Lisa calls out to Whitney and she says, Whitney, you still have the tags out. And Whitney turns around and says, oh yeah, that was intentional because I plan on returning them once we come back from the trip. So Lisa's like, girl, that's not me. I don't do that. So it's clear that Whitney's trying to throw shade by insinuating that Lisa returns her clothes. So now we cut to Whitney's confessional and she says that she would rather die than to be Lisa for the day. Now, Whitney, let me just stop right here. Are you sure about that, hon? Because your actions say otherwise. I have been clocking the jealousy and the obsession since day one. You and your friend / cousin Heather are obsessed with Lisa. So now we have Whitney saying that she's gonna lean into the persona and be the fakest, phoniest, most materialistic bitch that she can be. And I said, and what are you, girl? I just find it to be hilarious that Whitney wants to throw all this shade at Lisa when she's always stirring the pot and then throwing other people under the bus, always grasping at straws for a storyline, lying on folks, can't take ownership, but yet you want to call somebody else names. And what really bothered me was just the fact that you ruined a good time. You guys were all having fun. It was a cute vibe. It's the last lunch on vacation. And now you want to bring the mood down by trying to shade Lisa about how she returns things? Like, what are we doing? You just can't help yourself. So Lisa's visibly annoyed and she says, well, that was me until we got to the part about the tag sticking out of the clothes. That's not me. So now Whitney says, well, I think it was appropriate because there have been rumors for years that you return your clothes. I said, Whitney, you always know some rumor about somebody else. Let's talk about the rumors about you. They have the rumors swirling around about you and Justin possibly getting divorced. And your former employees aired you out a few months ago on TikTok about how you're allegedly running a multi-level marketing scheme. And on top of that, you weren't paying folks, allegedly. So let's talk about that. So Lisa was me in this situation. She said, girl, don't play yourself. That's not true. That's not me. Because you can walk into my closet right now and you will see those same pieces still there. I don't play that. And I said, girl, we're right here. You do not have to ever worry about me playing with your commission check. I don't do that to people. We don't play those bald-headed reindeer games over here, all right? When I come into your store, I'm buying. My red bottoms are scraped because I wear them. They are worn out.
Bling, bling, bling. Bitches is mad.
So now Lisa's really annoyed and she says, what exactly are you implying? And Whitney says that maybe you're a bit more fake than you come off. So Lisa's like, what? I'm fake? I'm fake? Really? So Whitney says, Lisa, you're not good at diving into connections with people or understanding feelings. And pretty much when you get what you want from people, you leave them and find somebody else. Now, Lisa definitely does seem to be a very surface level friend. But my question for Whitney is, if Lisa is such a self-absorbed friend and a social climber, then why have you been so pressed to be her friend for all these years? That's why I can't get behind Whitney, because this is some really twisted obsession that she has. You're chastising Lisa on one hand for not being a deeper friend, but yet at the same time, you want to be close to her. Does that make sense to anybody else? Because it's not making sense to me. If she can't give you what you need as a friend, then move around to somebody else. So Lisa's defensive and she says, that's not me at all. That's not anything close to who I am as a person. So Whitney says, Lisa, you make things about yourself all the time. And Lisa says, no, you make everything about me. You talk about my businesses, my family, my marriage. And Lisa low-key clocked Whitney because that's the truth. Whitney talks about Lisa more than Whitney talks about Whitney. Lisa lives rent-free. Lisa has condos in Whitney's brain. Lisa is like Park Place and Boardwalk. You know, in Monopoly, she is the most expensive property on the boardwalk in Whitney's brain because Whitney can't get enough. Every episode so far has been all about Lisa. So they're going back and forth and Whitney says, well, you've done the same thing to me. And Lisa says, when? Let's cite some examples, please. Where's the proof? And like I said, we're going to talk about this more later on. But Whitney is always screaming and hollering about how somebody's done X, Y, and Z to her, and she never has the receipts to back it up. Lisa has asked her several times, girl, where are the receipts? So Whitney brings up that same tired lie about how Lisa was the one who brought the info about her business to this group, and Lisa denies it. She says, that was not because of me. That was because of you. You had already put your business out there. That was not me. Lisa was trying to read, so she says, I think that your gut is leaking. You need to go and take a probiotic. So now Lisa loses it and she's like, get that wig off your head. You will never be me. You will never be as ethical as I am. Take that effing wig off your head right now. I don't want it on your head. Baby, the way Whitney and Lisa were cursing each other out, you have other folks at the restaurant. One man was covering his kid's ears. I said, oh my gosh. Y'all are really showing out. Can we please hold it together? Because this is embarrassing. And Whitney, I blame you for all this because it did not have to go left like that. Y'all were having a cute time. There is no reason why you had to go and shade Lisa about how she returns the clothes. Why would you say that? I feel like Whitney is not happy unless there's some chaos and turmoil. So to make matters worse, we have Brittany jumping in to defend Lisa. Now, Miss Brittany, the way these ladies got on you on that Sprinter van in the last episode, if I were you, I would just play it safe and sit there and eat my food. You have Brittany talking about Lisa. I haven't known you for that long, but you've always been so nice and loyal to me. And then she turns to Whitney and says, Whitney, you make no sense. So now Mary jumps in because we know that Mary cannot stand Brittany. Mary says, Brittany, I don't know why you're talking, especially after you got caught recording everybody on the bus yesterday and these women got tipsy and forgot about what you did, but I didn't. I said, damn, Mary. Mary let it be known that she's going to always be on Brittany's ass, okay? She said, girl, you're going to always get it again and again and again.
And you're gonna always get it again and again and again.
So Brittany's annoyed and she says, I'm pissed right now because you guys all do the same thing, especially you, Mary. I saw you recording out the window too. And Mary says, no, I didn't. Shut up. You're just mad because you got caught. So now we cut to Mary's confessional and she says, don't come for me because you do not want to open up this door. So now we have Brittany giving us a performance. And she's crying and hollering about how the entire group has tortured her. And now she says, and Meredith, you called me vile and vicious. I'm not going to ever get over that. Now, one thing about Miss Meredith Marks, she's going to always stand 10 toes down in her dramatics because she said, well, that's how I felt and I'm allowed to have my feelings. Now, Brittany, I don't know why you thought you would get an apology from Meredith, but girl, keep dreaming. So Meredith and Brittany are going back and forth, and now Meredith ends the conversation, and she says, you know what? I don't want to talk to you anymore. I'm not interested. And Brittany says, wow, that's really low. And then she says, clearly, I have no friends here. So Heather's like, Brittany, now that's not true. Like, sit back down. And Brittany's like, no. So she's crying. She walks off, and Mary was so over it. She said, let her go. That girl is no good. Now, mind you, lunch is pretty much ruined. Brittany has gone off to the side to cry. And we see Lisa, Heather, and Angie going after Brittany to comfort her and see if she's okay. Now, we see that Mary is annoyed that Angie has run after her sworn enemy, Brittany. Because we cut to Mary's confessional and she says, I don't understand why Angie's running after her. She just accused me of recording her, and you don't run after somebody who hates me. Now, I'm very loyal to people. If I call you my friend, I'm not going to ever hang out with your op. But in this case, Mary dropped the ball with her piss poor communication to Angie. Also, Mary, let's not be so dramatic. I don't think that Brittany hates you at all. You're the one who has more of an issue with her. Brittany has been trying to be friends with you. Let's be all the way clear here. Mary is the one who's had it out for Brittany ever since episode 1, when Brittany was trying to relate to her and said, oh yeah, I grew up poor too. And Mary was like, well, I didn't. And you know, I don't do that. I don't put rolls in my purse. Mary was already over Brittany over that one mistake since the beginning. I don't think that Mary's given Brittany a fair shot at all, if we're being completely honest. Again, Mary, I understand that sentiment of you don't befriend my op, but let's not get it twisted. I would not classify Brittany as your op because Brittany actually does want to get to know you. You're the one who's made it clear that you don't like her. You've been very hard on her. Let's just call a spade a spade. And also, Mary, you're sending mixed signals to Angie and the group because you don't like Brittany, but yeah, you had that woman in your house for that breakfast at Tiffany's lunch. If you don't like somebody, why would you have them in your home? You know what I'm saying? And then in last week's episode, when you guys went out to lunch, after the whole fiasco of y'all berating Brittany for recording them, Brittany was quiet at lunch and you sought Brittany out. You were like, Brittany, babe, how are you feeling? You're so quiet. Are you okay? If I'm Brittany, I'm thinking, wait, is she trying to show some concern? Does she like me? Because again, Mary, 1 minute you can be sort of pleasant with Brittany, then the next minute you can't stand her and you're shading her. So I wouldn't classify Brittany as a full-blown enemy or an op. So now the ladies split up into two groups for the activities, and we see Heather, Whitney, Angie, and Brittany making ceviche, and that ceviche looked so good. My mouth was watering. I said, oh, and it's nice and fresh too. They have a chef there. I was like, oh, I would have picked that as well, because again, y'all know I love food. I love some ceviche, so yes. And then we see Meredith, Bronwyn, Mary, and Lisa horseback riding. In the extended and uncensored version, when they're done with horseback riding, they're in the water, and Mary says to Lisa, Lisa, I think I'm done with Angie. And Lisa's like, wait, what? Like, are you serious right now? So Meredith and Bronwyn are also confused. And Mary says, when Angie ran after Brittany, I didn't like that. It felt like she took her side. So then she goes on to say that she's done with Angie. And I think Meredith goes on to ask Mary, did you tell her this? And Mary says, yes, I did. Now, Mary, you're a bold-faced lie. You didn't tell Angie anything. Because after lunch, you guys split up into the two groups to do horseback riding, and she did the ceviche class. So when did you have time to tell Angie that you were done with her? That was real passive-aggressive. It felt very cowardly, and I wasn't feeling that. But we cut to Mary's confessional, and she says that she's not one to bond with people quickly, so when she does, she feels a betrayal, and then she's done with you. So, Mary, you've really got to work on some emotional regulation, because to call this a betrayal, that's not what this is. So now we're at the last dinner of the trip, and I thought it was really pretty because they had a private room. They're having dinner in the middle of the new theme park, so you see all the rides, like just stunning. Now this dinner started off chaotic. So it was chaos from beginning, middle, and end. The ladies are ordering their food. We have this one ordering an avocado pizza. I think Angie also ordered a pizza. I think she ordered pepperoni. This one's ordering a steak. This one's ordering some fish tacos. Just the works, right? The food comes out, and mind you, Angie, Bronwyn, and Mary are on the same side of the table. But Bronwyn is in between Mary and Angie. So Angie leans over and she's like, hey, Mary, do you want a slice of my pepperoni pizza? So Mary's eating her pizza and she's ignoring Angie. So Angie is like, okay, did she not hear me? Is she purposely ignoring me? And you know when somebody's purposely ignoring you. So Angie's like, Mary, I feel like you're being really quiet with me. What's going on? And now Mary turns to Angie and she says, what do you think is going on? So Mary starts unleashing and she's like, running after Brittany when you know how she feels about me and you still ran after her? So Angie's completely shocked. And she's like, Mary, you know that I've been trying to gain your confidence for months. And Mary says, I know, but nobody told you to do that. So, baby, I'm not going to hold you. I felt my blood boiling. You would have thought that I was Angie in this situation, because one thing about me, I hate to feel embarrassed. And I would have felt so embarrassed to be blindsided like that at the table. You wait until we're in front of the group to sit up here and embarrass me and call me out when I had no idea that I hurt your feelings unintentionally. I would have crashed out at that table, y'all. I'm not even going to hold you. Angie handled this a lot better than I would have, because I feel like if you have an issue with me, and especially when you know that I would never go out of my way to hurt you, like that's what gets me so mad. Because if you claim that you're my friend, then you know my heart. You know that I would never purposely try to hurt you. So for you to accuse me of hurting you, and then on top of that, you do this in front of the group, there is no coming back from that. Like, I felt so bad for Angie in this moment, because I hate to feel embarrassed. And I would have felt so humiliated had Mary pulled a stunt like this with me. I was like, oh my God. You would have thought that this was happening to me, because I was getting angrier and angrier by the minute. So Angie's pleading her case and she says, Mary, you made a choice to be my friend, and you even told me that God brought us together. So you have Mary being a smartass, and she's like, oh, well, you know, I'm human. I get things wrong sometimes. Maybe I was wrong about that. So Angie says, wrong about what? And Mary's like, wrong about you. So I said, child, again, y'all, I was getting real heated during this scene. I said, oh no. So Mary says, I'm big on loyalty. And now Angie says, Mary, please give me your hand. And Mary says, no, I'm not playing with you. So now you have Angie crying, begging for their friendship. And she says, Mary, you've changed my life. I never meant to hurt you. I'm so sorry. And I was thinking, Angie, you did not do anything wrong. You were not purposely trying to harm Mary. Child, oh, I was getting so mad. Oh my God. I guess my perspective is, if you know that your friend is not trying to purposely harm you or be nasty to you, why wouldn't you give them the benefit of the doubt? Why wouldn't you think, hey, maybe I'm the one who's taking this the wrong way. Let me go and talk to them one-on-one and just have a conversation. I would have felt so blindsided by Mary. And then for you to say, well, we're done in front of everybody and I'm not playing with you and maybe I was wrong about you. I would have felt like you had stabbed me. Like it would have felt like that. And what really blew me was the fact that Angie has kept your secret regarding your son being on drugs. And you want to sit up there and clown and act like she's betrayed your trust? Are you serious right now? So now Mary opens up and shares her story about how she's like this because both of her parents abandoned her. When she was 6 years old, her dad walked out, and before he left, he admitted that he didn't like her because she was too outspoken. Then she goes on to add that her mom, who was her best friend, cut her off. And because of that, she has severe abandonment issues, and it stays with you for life.
Both of my parents abandoned me. My dad admitted it, and he didn't like me. And my mom, who was my best friend, she cut me off.
So let me just stop, because I already know that a few of y'all are going to say, Brooke, you're just so hard on Mary, or you're so hard on people. Just listen to where I'm coming from, right? That's sad about Mary and her upbringing. I can't imagine how that feels. I come from a very loving home. I empathize with Mary. I'm not negating her pain. However, we all have pain, trauma, some that we talk about, some that we don't talk about. Everybody has a story. Me, you, your neighbor, everybody has gone through something. While it's sad, you can't live in that trauma forever. You still have to get up and move on with your life. And I know that I joke around about it's time to go see the lady, but Mary, it is time for you to go and see the lady. Because while the trauma is not your fault, it is your responsibility to heal from that. And you have the resources, you have the time to go and see a professional and sort out what happened to you in your childhood and start fixing things. You cannot lean on, well, I was damaged as a kid. That can't be your reasoning for staying the same. I'm sorry, at some point, you have to say, you know what? I want to fix this. And Mary, you're not the only one with pain. Because Angie had to remind you, well, girl, I have the same issues too because my mom died and left me when I was 7. So now what? Again, Effie, we all have pain. And it's not fair that Mary gets to use her pain as a crutch. If a friend hurt your feelings, they made a stupid joke, just talk to them in private and say, hey, that hurt my feelings and that triggered me. And then you guys can work it out. And I don't want to hear about, oh, well, you know, Mary has abandonment issues. Well, some of us have issues where if we're embarrassed, that we'll cut you off for that too. So now we're even. You have abandonment issues and I have embarrassment issues. Don't embarrass me. So now I'm going to cut you off because you try to play me in front of the group. I was really annoyed with Mary. Like, girl, what? Like, what are we doing here? I got triggered watching that. Mary, you had plenty of time to tell Angie how you felt in that villa before dinner, but you chose to go the passive-aggressive route and embarrass her. There was no reason for that, especially since Angie has been such a great friend to Mary. She's been so sweet, a listening ear. And you know Angie's heart. Now, I could see if this were Lisa Barlow or, you know, somebody else where you know that they're not really your friends, you expect for them to betray you. but this woman has kept your secrets. She has really loved you, opened up her home to you. That is your girl, and you want to accuse her in front of everybody like that? No, ma'am. So now we have Mary sobbing, Angie sobbing, and Angie says, Mary, I want to be your friend for life. So now Mary says that she's blessed to have Angie, and then she goes on to say that Angie has brought her sisterhood. I was happy to see Mary and Angie make up, but Mary, going forward, you need to do a better job with expressing yourself in a mature fashion and not like this. So now that we've gotten that out the way, Heather jumps in and says, Mary, I'm so glad that you shared that, and I love your friendship, and Angie really does love you. And now she says, who else wants to clear the air? So Meredith jumps in and says, well, I want to clear something up because I'm still a bit confused and I need some clarity on something. So Meredith addresses Whitney and she says, Whitney, you accuse Lisa of planning a story with a blogger about your jewelry coming from Alibaba. You even said that you have proof. So Meredith goes on and says that the person that Whitney contacted reached out to her recently and told her a completely different story. Now, we all know the blogger that they're talking about. That blogger is Up and Adam here on YouTube. So now we cut over to Meredith in her confessional, and she says that she met the podcaster that Whitney's been talking to. So she goes on to say that recently Up and Adam called her and told her the story of how Whitney was asking for proof about Lisa and these rumors, and she was trying to enlist him in getting proof. So Meredith goes on to add how Up and Adam denied that he ever did anything and that Whitney twisted up his words. So you have Whitney trying to explain herself, and she says, no, he said that, Lisa did it, and he followed it up with a phone call. So I'm like, that's all the proof that you have? Are you serious? You accuse somebody of planning stories about your business and you can't even provide a decent receipt? You've been doing this now since, what, season 2? So Lisa jumps in and says, that's not proof, and I don't talk to blogs. So Whitney says, yes, you do, and I have the proof. And I said, Whitney, if you say that you have proof one more time, I'm going to scream. You have yet to provide one receipt. So now Whitney really jumps out the window and accuses Lisa of feeding information to Reality Von Tease. Now, we all know who that is. I don't even want to say her name, but the weirdo from last season who caused all that drama. She had that troll account and was found out in the finale. So now Heather jumps in and says, who told you this? And here goes Whitney on some clown stuff, and she reveals that she reached out to Monica. I said, oh my gosh. Why are we even saying that lady's name? Leave her in the dust. Please leave her in season 4. I don't want Monica back in any capacity. Now, Heather, I usually don't see it for you, but when you're right, you're right. I was here for you getting your cousin all the way together. Heather's like, excuse me, you did what? After all that we went through last year? What level of desperation led you to make a move like this? Now, you know it's bad when Heather Gay is calling anybody desperate. So Whitney tries to defend her pea-brain logic, and she says, well, the desperation led me to reaching out to Monica because I was so tired of being called a liar. And Monica had proof that Lisa was feeding the blogs. I said, hold on. Hold on. The same Monica that you all deemed a liar, a fraud, a con artist, a weirdo, that's somebody that you go to for proof? Are we okay? If Monica is such a liar, there should be no rhyme or reason for you to go and ask her anything. Y'all said that she had no credibility. You said that you didn't feel safe around her anymore because of the stunt that she pulled. But now you're calling her up to get proof regarding Lisa feeding info to blogs? Excuse me? Whitney, you played yourself. I just said you sound absolutely insane right now. Why are you calling Monica up for anything? And let's not forget that Monica also can't stand Lisa. So of course, she's going to accuse Lisa of feeding info to blogs to make Lisa look bad. I don't know why you can't just own up to the fact that you were wrong, this was all a lie, and you have it out for Lisa, so you want to lie on her. You're better off admitting that than to sit up there and talk about, oh, well, I called Monica and Monica told me that it's true. What? We're believing a known liar? Stop it. So Heather says, never in a million years did I think that you would reach out to our sworn enemy. So now we have Mary jumping in to defend Whitney, and she says, well, if I'm being honest, you guys are not the friendliest people. So Meredith is like, me too, Mary? Are you serious? And Mary says, yeah, Meredith, you too. Now, Miss Mary, what we won't do is pretend like you're easy to get along with either. You're not the friendliest, you're not the warmest to people, and you want to call somebody else out on not being friendly? Really? Like, right message, wrong messenger, because you also fall in that category too. But Mary says that when Heather, Meredith, and Lisa get mad, they gang up on people and make people do things in despair. And then she says that she's also been there too. So now we have Heather pretty much bashing up and Adam, and she says, well, it's embarrassing that man has access to you and you need to cut him off and change your number. And I said, wait, so we're now blaming bloggers? And here's what kills me about these housewives. When they feel like you're too hard on them, they'll be the first ones jumping in your DMs, asking you to take it easy on them and giving you all this tea and chopping it up with you. And they want to include you in these storylines. And then when things go awry, now they want to talk down on you, talk about, oh, well, they shouldn't have access to you, and it's an embarrassment that that person has your number. It's like, wait, let's not do that. Because I'm pretty sure that y'all were all calling him up at some point, trying to get him to favor your side of the story. Now it's an embarrassment that he has access to you? Really? So now we have Whitney trying to call out Meredith, and Miss Meredith is not having it. She starts screaming, don't put your dirty behavior on me. Then she goes on to say, I did not enlist him to lie. You're the one who called up Monica. You're the one who's dishonest. And you want to sit up there and blame me for your behavior? No, ma'am. I said, Meredith, whack her again.
I'm gonna just scoot on over and let you whack him. Get him again. Get him for me.
So now Heather jumps in trying to break up Meredith and Whitney's argument. And she says, guys, look at us. We're obsessed with trying to expose each other and find receipts. And then she says, we have a stranger turning us against each other. And I said, no, ma'am, don't blame a stranger. Blame Whitney. This is all Whitney's doing. If Whitney would stop all this lying, then you guys could actually have some peace in this group. So now you have Heather going around the table and she says, it hurts when folks make fun of us and call us ugly or say that we're bad mothers. And she says, Monica's not the only one who had a burn book. We all have burn books of our own. So she says, we all have them in our phones, and none of us are without fault. None of us are innocent. So this is the beginning of where this dinner went off the rails. Heather says, we've all said horrible things about each other, and we thought that we got rid of the problem last year, but we haven't. But tonight, we're going to solve it. Heather wants them all to take their phones out, search the nastiest thing that they have said about somebody in this group, and show it to that person. And mind you, they have to read the horrible text about themselves out loud to the group. Now, for all my Miami watchers, remember that horrible game that Marisol played when they were in the Hamptons? And they had to go around the table and say who they trusted the least. And that ended up in tears and a big argument, a hot mess. This was like that game times 100. Now, I can tell you right now, if I were in a friend group where I had had some friction with somebody and I had text messages of me going in on said person, and somebody else in the group wants to play a game where we read the text messages where we bash that person aloud, personally, I would have said, shout out to everybody, I had fun.
Oh! Shout out to everybody, I had fun.
I gotta be good.
Because there is nothing good that can come from this. Honestly and truthfully, I don't want to know what you thought about me when we were beefing. I don't need to know. What you thought, what you think about me is none of my business. Let me be in denial. Because I'm thinking, well, damn, you thought that about me. You probably still think that about me. We can't move on from that. And if they would have forced me to play this game, I would have thrown my phone in the water. I would have thrown it right in the water. We're not doing this. If you want to find out what I said about you, you can feel free to dive in and fish it out, but I'm not showing you my phone voluntarily. So Mary volunteers to go first, and she says this was about Heather. So child, Heather already has tears in her eyes. So Mary pretty much said that the fame has gone to Heather's head, and how Heather has gotten more aggressive, and how she's been throwing her newfound success in their faces, and she's become more competitive. So Heather gives Mary back her phone. It's awkward. Everybody's quiet. And Heather says, I understand why you feel that, but I do feel like it's unfair because I've also lost a lot since becoming successful. So then she goes on to say that she likes who she's becoming and how she still remembers who she was 5 years ago before the show, before the fame. And then she adds that she doesn't feel mean, she feels grateful. Now, Heather, the fame has gone to your head. Let's be clear about that. Let's be honest. You have gotten a bit meaner. The way you treated Bronwyn in the first half of this season, girl, stop. You did not give that lady a fair chance. So now Brittany goes next. She gives Mary her phone. And the only thing that she said about Mary was she wants to invite Bronwyn over for tea and not Mary. So Mary's like, okay, girl, like, what? Really? Like, I really don't care. And now Brittany says that she's had the hardest time getting to know Mary. Now, Brittany seems like there's nothing in her head except for Jared. So I'm not surprised that that's all that she said about Mary. So now it's Bronwyn's turn. Bronwyn gives Brittany her phone and has Brittany read what she said about her. Bronwyn, you went in on Brittany. I was like, okay, girl, like, tell us how you really feel. But anyhow, Brittany reads the text message, and it's all about how Brittany is emotionally manipulative, how she parentifies her children, and then on top of that, she went in on Brittany's intelligence being low, and I was like, damn, girl. But I'm not gonna hold you though. Anybody who is putting a man before their children deserves that kind of read. So I was not mad at Bronwyn's reads about Miss Brittany. And Brittany is way too grown to be this obsessed over some dick. So Bronwyn's like, look, that's how I feel. I'm sorry. And Brittany is not here for it. She's like, girl, you don't know me at all to make that assessment. How dare you? And Bronwyn says, again, I'm sorry. So it's clear that Bronwyn is either watching the Black content creators or has some Black friends, because I was floored when she said, I feel for Brittany, but at her big age, it's time for her to fix what's broken. I said, girl, not you saying at your big age. I said, girl, what? I said, who taught you that? Now, Miss Angie K, girl, how dare you leave me speechless? I ran this scene back 30 times. I was on the floor. You don't understand. I screamed so loud. I know my neighbors were like, what the F is going on? Angie, you could have warned somebody before you gave Bronwyn your phone. So Angie says, here's my phone. I was having a conversation about Bronwyn. We weren't in the best place, but here you go. Now, did anybody clock how Bronwyn was already crying when she got Angie's phone? Bronwyn reads the message out loud, and it reads, Bronwyn seems nice. I like her business plan, marrying a man with 1 foot in the grave and 1 foot on a banana peel. I said, damn. I said, Angie.
You know what? This is too much.
So just when you think that things can't get worse, the rest of the message goes something like, Bronwyn seems nice, but she doesn't listen. because her ears are stitched all the way down to her face. I said, Angie, who wrote that read for you? I said, damn, girl. Now her ears are stitched so tight to her face that she can't hear anything. I said, my God, today. And I said, Bronwyn, you're better than me because I would have given Angie her phone right back. I would not have read the rest. So the rest of the message goes something like, she wore that stupid hot dog outfit to remind us that she sucked her way to the top. I said, woo, Angie, girl. You didn't even give Bronwyn a chance to get up. That was a TKO. Bronwyn gave Angie that phone back like she was about to pass out. She looked defeated. So you have Angie like, oh my gosh, like, I'm so sorry, girl. I didn't mean any of that. I was just so mad. That's not how I feel now. And Bron was like, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Like, it's fine. That's how you felt. Don't apologize. I said, you don't even have to lie. You are hurt. And anybody would be. That woman attacked your looks, said that your ears are all the way tucked back behind your face. You can't hear. Married this sour old man for some money. Said he got one foot in the grave. Read you for filth. And then in your confessional, you're like, that was such a cutting thing to say, and how she called you ugly on the inside and the outside. And then she goes on to say, for you to think that I would marry a man solely for his money, why would you want to be friends with me anyway? I said, girl, I can't even be mad at you for being mad because that hurt my damn feelings. Now, Angie did explain that the reason why she was so mad at Bronwyn was due to how Bronwyn tried to throw her under the bus at camp day. So now it's Lisa's turn, and her message was about Meredith. So she gives Meredith her phone, and she warns Meredith that, just so you know, this was said last year when me and you had some beef. So we're good now, but this was last year. Now, I'm not going to hold you guys. Lisa's message about Meredith was not that bad. It was something about, oh, Meredith loves to dig up dirt on all of us to weaponize it against us, and I'm tired of it. I couldn't stop laughing because Angie said, you know good and damn well that Lisa has worse on that phone. She just showed Meredith the least shadiest message. And again, Lisa played it safe, and I don't blame her. Lisa has sense. So now it's Heather's turn, and she says, my message was about Whitney. And by the way, Whitney, this was 2 years ago when you and I had gotten into that huge fight in Arizona. Heather hands Whitney that phone, and girl, you have Whitney already crying. So Heather went in because the message said that Whitney is a thirsty, low-life piece of shit, and she sold her soul for fame and recognition. Whitney sobbing. I said, Whitney, girl, just give her the phone back. So the rest of the message reads, and I feel so stupid. I don't know why I trusted her, and I don't even know why I carry her Wild Rose products at the beauty lab because nobody's buying this shit anyway. So I said, oh my gosh. I said, damn, Heather. Whitney was so angry, she's shaking. So Angie's like, she doesn't mean it. And Whitney's like, yes, she does. So Heather's like, girl, I said that out of pure rage. This was 2 years ago. I don't mean it. I was just hurt by you, but I love you. So they do this pinky promise and they do some secret handshake and they're officially cool again. Again, y'all are playing a dangerous game because personally, I could not get over that. I don't care if it was 2 years ago. I don't need to see what you thought about me 2 years ago if it was a vicious read. Let me live in denial. Because sometimes what you do know can hurt you. I don't need to know that. So now it's Whitney's turn, and surprise, surprise, her message is about Lisa. And I said, girl, we know that because you have a hard-on for Lisa Barlow. So I already knew that Whitney's text was going to be on some BS. It was going to be real low down. So Whitney's message about Lisa was about how she was at a party with Justin and a woman approached them about being a third, and that Lisa and John can vouch for her because she made out with Lisa while she was jerking off John. Lisa's like, are you effing serious right now? Like, what the F is this? So Whitney says, I chose to show you that message because I've gone in on you and your marriage, and I don't believe this for a minute. Now, Whitney, let me get you together because you think that we can't see the games that you play. You know good and damn well that you chose this particular message because you want to put that rumor out there that John and Lisa have threesomes and that John is cheating. That was a real slick way for you to get this rumor out without you having to say it. And despite how you might feel about Lisa Barlow, Lisa did not deserve that. This was about what you said about each other. Why are we including families and husbands? That's out of order. And Lisa clocked it too. She said, the fact that you would put this out there, are you serious? So while Lisa and Whitney are going back and forth, Lisa is staring at Angie, and Angie's like, girl, why are you looking at me? I'm not in this. So Lisa's like, it's too much. It's just too much. What if somebody said something about your husband, Sean? So now you have Whitney jumping in, talking about, oh, well, I could have shown you the message where I talked about your looks. And Lisa's like, girl, are you serious? What about my looks? Let me see those messages then. I'd rather that than you talking about my marriage. Now, side note, Whitney, are you okay? Because what are you saying about Lisa's looks? It's giving jealousy. Lisa's not an ugly woman, so what are you talking about? You just look like a crazed weirdo because you are just so fixated on this lady. It's like you want to destroy her. It's weird. So Lisa's like, you're dirty, and you just go lower and lower every single time. So Whitney's giving these weak-ass apologies. She's like, I'm sorry. And Lisa's like, you know what, girl, I'm done. 3 strikes and you're out, bitch. Like, I'm just done. I'm tired. So as Lisa's crying, Meredith goes to hug her, and Lisa's shouting that Whitney has an effed up mind. And now you have Whitney yelling and saying that Lisa needs to shut the F up and listen to her. And I said, girl, you just put this rumor out about her marriage, and you're telling her to shut up and listen to you? Are you serious? So here's where everything goes to hell. Angie jumps in to comfort Lisa, and she says, Lisa, nobody believes this rumor. Lisa throws out a poorly timed analogy that just messed everything up. Lisa says, I don't care. I heard that Sean does circle jerks. How do you feel about that? Child, why did Lisa say that? Lisa, you should have thrown out an analogy about Whitney and Justin, not Angie and Sean, especially knowing that Angie and Sean went through these same rumors last year. Angie got up and I thought it was about to be a fight. She's like, why would you effing say that? Why would you bring me and Sean into this? I didn't say anything. That was her. And things got so heated that a producer comes out to grab Angie, and Angie's like, get off me. I thought that Angie was about to jump across that table and whoop Lisa's ass because she was livid. Again, Lisa, I understand that you were trying to make a comparison about Angie. How would you feel if she said that about Sean? But the way it came out, it wasn't the time. It made things worse. You escalated the situation. And I understand why Angie was pissed, because it's like, girl, I'm on your side. Why are you going to bring up me and my husband? Are you serious right now? So Angie's off to the side with the producers. Mary gets up to check on her, and she's like, I don't understand why Lisa had to bring you up in the first place. So Lisa is screaming at Whitney, and she's like, Whitney, you started this whole entire thing. And while I agree with that, the real culprit is Heather, because Heather wanted to play this dumb game in the first place. So Lisa and Whitney are still going at it, and now Meredith is so over it. She's like, I've had enough of this. I'm leaving. I don't give an F anymore. And she gets up to go. And I don't blame Meredith because I would have been over this dinner too. So now Lisa is still crying about how nobody said anything about anybody's marriage and it only happens to her. So now you have Bronwyn saying, well, a lot of stuff has been said about my marriage too. And I said, Bronwyn, you can't compare the two because if we're being honest, you've said a lot about your marriage as well. You've made jokes about how your marriage is beautiful but yet miserable. You admitted to the group that there was some infidelity going on and how you love Todd more than he loves you. And people have formed their opinions based on what you've said to them and based on what they've seen between you and Todd, that you guys both look miserable. So I don't think that you can compare the two because Lisa and John do look happily married. So yes, I understand why Lisa is hurt and upset that somebody's sitting up here with some stupid rumor about they had a threesome and some girl was jerking off John. Of course she'd be angry because she's never alluded to infidelity in their marriage ever. So that would be hurtful. So we see Bronwyn's confessional and she says, I'm sorry, I like John, but he's no better than any other husband. I said, oh girl, you're pressed. I said, are you mad because your marriage is miserable and you're married to somebody who you might not be physically or sexually attracted to? And Lisa and John look very happy together. You can tell that there is still chemistry. They are both super into each other. And no offense, sis, but you can't say the same. You guys look like father and daughter. And I've met John in person. John is cute. I definitely see why Lisa is always like, my man, my man, my man. And he's very sweet, very nice, very engaging, very charming. I'm sorry, Bronwyn, that you can't say the same about your man and your marriage. But don't be talking about, oh, well, you know, he's no better than anybody else. Girl, nobody said he was better than anybody else. What Lisa is saying is, I'm happily married. Don't sit up there and lie and try to destroy my marriage. So Lisa walks off. She's like, get this effing mic off me. I'm done. I said, girl, this was the dinner from hell. I said, I'd be so pissed because to organize this trip and have it end like that, that's really sad. So now we end the finale episode with Heather, Mary, Whitney, and Bronwyn still at the table. And Heather is giving this fake apology, saying that she's so sorry because that's not how she wanted this night to end. I said, Heather, do you think that we're stupid? You planned for this to happen. Because again, nobody with any sense would orchestrate a game like this, especially on vacation. So Mary says that this dinner was not what she thought it was going to be. She says it turned out to be a full-blown brawl. And then she says the people who are angry are the people who can't be real. Now, Mary, the only reason why you're not mad is because you read a very soft text about you. Had somebody read you for filth, you would be screaming and hollering too. You can't say that the people who are angry are the people who can't be real. Let's stop. Anybody's gonna be mad. I don't care how easygoing you are. If you read a text from a friend reading you for filth, there is no other way to take that. And if you say otherwise, you're lying. Mary's only saying that because nobody went in on her. That's it. So you have Whitney talking about, I know that Heather did not intend for this to happen, but I'm grateful that she did this because it was really healing. Or in Whitney's words, it was healing. And now we close out with Heather saying that these friendships are worth fighting for, and it's not over for any of us. It's just the beginning. And I said, oh, really, girl? Are you sure about that? I don't see Lisa forgiving Whitney at all. And this last scene showed me why both Lisa and Angie are first chair at the reunion. It makes complete sense because what went down between them, I said, okay, I get it. But y'all, when I tell you this finale was it, and bravo, y'all know good and well that we could have gotten at least 2 more episodes. Salt Lake City season 5 is going down as one of the greatest seasons of all time. Y'all ate 16 for 16. But we still have the 3-part reunion. I'm salivating as we speak because the trailer for that reunion, I said, oh, we have all the husbands there. Even Todd is there. Him and John are getting into it. I said, oh, wait, what? Lisa's calling out Bronwyn, and she's exposing that Bronwyn and Todd never bought that necklace. I said, oh, damn. Mary has everybody crying, even Andy. We have Andy asking Seth if there's a side chick in Ohio, and Meredith is storming off. I said, oh, I am seated. We are about to be fed. Do you understand me? Do you hear the words coming out of my mouth? I can't wait. We honestly could have gotten the first part of the reunion right after the finale. A double feature, because I need this reunion like yesterday. That's how excited I am. Again, Salt Lake City, 10 out of 10, no notes. Y'all ate down. And I look forward to seeing this reunion. And I can't wait for season 6. But y'all, that was my recap. I hope you all enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching. And you already know what to do. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you all later. Bye.